Democrats in the liberal media are already plotting their revenge on outgoing DHS Secretary Kristi Noem after President Trump announced Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin will replace her at the end of the month.
Don't think you get to just walk away. I guarantee you, you will still be held accountable.
Funniest thing would be if they deport her to El Salvador.
I just want to say with absolute certainty, she is a domestic terrorist who deserves to go to Gitmo.
I mean, there have been dozens of injuries and deaths under her leadership of ICE.
Dark heart of this administration is not Noem, it's Stephen Miller, and he needs to be next. She's just a scapegoat in all this.
Oh, Kristi, it looks like cricket had the last laugh after all.
But while Democrats are busy settling scores, they are missing what really matters, our security. That's because in the middle of a heightened threat environment in Iran, Democrats are still holding up funding for DHS. And incredibly, some Democrats are even gloating about the standoff.
ICE has enough money in the big, bad, stinking, lousy, ugly bill that was passed. They're well funded, so we don't need to pass this bill.
Don't give them any money. Don't confirm a DHS secretary. Continue to drag them in front of you and put the guardrails around.
What Democrats want is, regardless of who's at the top, that ICE and DHS actually not murder American citizens.
Shannon, it is very unclear to me what Democrats want, but going back to the early days when Schumer was presenting his list of demands, one of them was judicial warrants, which was a non-starter for Republicans. You get that to enter a home, but to have that for every immigration operation, it would just put handcuffs on ICE.
Yeah, it would change the scale of what they could do. I mean, they are not part of that, branch of government. They are within the executive branch. You're going to get an administrative warrant. You don't need a judicial warrant, will be their argument. But how many Democrats have told me in Washington they got to get rid of Kristi Noem? Then maybe we could talk. She's gone now, and they say, oh, no, the rot is totally deep. DHS is terrible, while also saying ICE is already funded. So they know that. They're acknowledging ICE is already funding. So why are you sticking it to the TSA folks who missed a ton of paychecks last fall? And they got to remember, if they want to go after Kristi Noem and they're warning her when you are out of office, we're coming after you, they're setting precedents. They did that with Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro. And guess what? That showed up when the Clintons decided that they were not going to comply with a congressional subpoena. You could point to, okay, look at the last administration. We put those guys in jail. So if they go after Kristi Noem, they may regret it at some point when they have members of the cabinet who do not live up to what Republicans expect of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Jessica, when you look at the heightened threat environment we are in, clearly we saw what happened this weekend with that shooting that left Americans dead. And then you look at what Democrats are doing. CISA, we know that Iran is known for targeting and hacking U.S. critical infrastructure. CISA, you're depriving them of funding. The Coast Guard, that's maritime search and rescue, port security, Secret Service, TSA, FEMA. These are critical.
Absolutely critical. It doesn't mean that Republicans and Democrats can't return to the table to talk about that list of demands. If you say the judicial warrants is, took completely off the table. Let's talk about the body cams. Let's talk about the masks. There was a list, I think, of 10 items on there. And I don't think that Democrats want to see anybody here at home harmed because of the heightened threat level from the war abroad. This is going to spill into the funding fight when they come and ask for another $50 billion, though. And the Democrats are going to come back and say, we fully funded the Pentagon. You got your ask. There was supposed to be a full audit. That didn't happen. They got over $1 trillion, including the reconciliation bill plus the budget funding. There's a lot of money swirling. You could also pull money from that ICE budget, which is funded until 2029, and put that towards FEMA, CISA, et cetera. I don't think Democrats fear what's going to happen to them if they set some precedent with Kristi Noem. We're already there. The Clintons testified. It's the Clinton rule now. I think that they'll be on the side of, we didn't give $220 million contracts to our friends for vanity shots. We didn't, the $143 million contract that went to a company that was just incorporated 8 days before Kristi Noem paid them, that was brought up in the oversight hearing in the House side. We have no fear about that. She was clearly rotten, and Republicans agreed because Senator Kennedy got the go-ahead from the Trump administration to ask her about it. He checked all the boxes. He said, I'm going to go and do this. And Trump said, go with God. So, to haul us in. But she deserves to be questioned about this. We need to know where all of that money went. And it looks like Corey Lewandowski was making money that he should not have been making, too, as her,
Jesse,
private cabin special assistant.
I know you want to focus on Kristi Noem, but I think the country would love to know, Jesse, why only Senator Fetterman and 4 House Democrats would vote to fund DHS at this time.
the Democrats say they want to be taken seriously. They say they care about the safety of the country. They say they care about protecting Americans. They say Trump doesn't, and they're the party that's going to keep you safe. And then they don't fund the Homeland during war. It's like Democrats when they say, no, this is for protecting illegals. This is because they care about illegals. They don't want all these illegals, all these rapists and molesters and traffickers. They want to protect them so they stay. It's like the ad that we run. Democrats don't care about you. This is just another great example of that. This country is under threat. Sleeper cells, lone wolves, reprisals. You name all these things that could happen, and they don't protect us? What are they waiting for? They're waiting for an American to die? What are we doing here? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Donald Trump's DHS reduced border crossings to an all-time low. They reduced the murder rate to a level we haven't seen since the 18th century. 17th, what is it? 20th? 19th? What is 1900? What would you call that? Is that in the 20th century or the 19th?
20th century.
Either way.
125 years.
That's
Go with
better.
that.
26.
Yeah.
Either way, the Democrats didn't do it. The Democrats released people from prison. The Democrats caught and released people on the terror watch list and then brought them into the country. They were letting people sex traffic children into the country. And now they're like shutting down the people that protect us during a war. That's crazy.
You have won me over. I'm a Republican now.
No, you just need to be a Fetterman Democrat.
That's like a Republican.
Can we get like
That's a smart person.
Not exactly.
Can we get a round of champagne with that announcement? Look, and then you have the golden boy in Texas, Tallarico, who uses the term undocumented Americans to just underscore Jesse's point.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, the reason why Noem's is not employed anymore is because of her off the field issues. All right, that's number one. It wasn't because of the job.
Well,
the border. I didn't interrupt you. So
I'm just adding.
The border was a mess. She locked it up. She's a lot better than the last one, Mayorkas, by far. But here's the difference between the two groups. She wasn't doing what needed to be doing. The ridiculous spending that she did, she got fired. What did the other group do? Nothing. They doubled down. They're fine with their mistakes. They act like they didn't happen. We know why she was let go. She was let go. And as far as revenge on Trump, let me just help you guys. Maybe you guys need to get some sleep or go outside and play on that green, crunchy stuff called grass. You can't get revenge on the president. He's already won. He's not running for anything again. He's going to lay the smack down on the rest of it and get this country where it needs to go. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you look cute doing your dumb videos that a 13-year-old would do. And then when they presented it to you as a parent, you'd be like, don't do that. You're going to look silly. You know, you're pulling pictures off the wall and you're doing all the. Who is the cool police for the Democratic Party? Who is telling them to make these videos? Because they're hard to stomach. Everything from their barbecues with no coals burning to having a beer with a husband who never takes his jacket off when he comes home. That's a huge sign. All their little things they do. Go back and look. Hey, honey, would you like to have a beer? He wouldn't even take his jacket off. So as fake as they are, and Pelosi's questioning people, hey, Pelosi, you got the extra cash. Why don't you fund TSA while it's all going down?
There you go. Paul Pelosi stock accounts. Yeah, it could fund it all. All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.